Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker as of right now is only 159 days away from its official release date by director J.J. Abrams that is all set and ready to end the sequel trilogy and the Skywalker saga itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one great thing about this film is that we do know that this movie is going to have a lot of connections to the prequels and the originals that will actually be connected to many of the different sequel trilogy-based characters that's going to be used for storyline reasons in the actual movie from start to finish of the plot by JJ. Now, we do know that this film is going to be the darkest Star Wars film within the sequel trilogy, and that's exactly what J.J. Abrams is aiming to do. In fact, it has been said before in the past that parts of this film are going to be darker than that of Episode 3. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that it's a description of Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren, traveling into what's described to be the abandoned First Order headquarters that once belonged to Snoke many years ago, before The Force Awakens. It's described that eventually Kylo and his knights reach Snoke's original throne room, which contains a large vault full of secrets that he left behind and kept locked away. It's said that one of the sequences is said to involve a hologram of Supreme Leader Snoke, talking about Darth Sidious, where it's said that Snoke explains a bit about Palpatine and how he senses a dark side entity that is said to be Palpatine's apprentice. It's described that at one point in time in the past, Snoke had sensed Darth Maul when watching over Palpatine from across the galaxy. It's said that Snoke's ring has something to do with being able to sense dark side users who try to hide their energy or identity, and that's how he was able to discover that Palpatine had an apprentice, which was Darth Maul. It said that this also connects to the Darth Maul hologram later in the film, where it said that Maul's hologram reveals that he had sensed a dark presence in the unknown regions when sending a message to Palpatine that Kylo discovers. Now, additionally, it said that Snoke also owns some of Darth Maul's personal items that Snoke obtained many years ago. So what's really intriguing about all of this is that you can really see the connections between both Snoke and Maul, as well as Palpatine, and what JJ is really trying to aim to do in The Rise of Skywalker. Now, like I have said many times before in the past, there are a lot of hints and or indicators that Palpatine was Snoke all along, only for the movies The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, or whenever Snoke was interacting with Kylo Ren per se. Now, I think the fact that Snoke owns many personal items of Darth Maul could yet be another hint and or indicator that supports that 100%. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over that really does intrigue me the most, though, is how Kylo Ren comes across one of the holograms that once belonged to Supreme Leader Snoke and kept it locked away inside of his throne room, specifically inside of his vault within the First Order headquarters before it was pretty much abandoned and put to the wayside, is that Kylo discovers this hologram of Snoke, talking about how he has actually sensed a apprentice that belongs to Darth Sidious himself. Now, not only that, as we went over not too long ago, is that the Darth Maul hologram set to appear later in the film also explains him sensing a dark entity over in the unknown regions of a hologram message that was being sent out to Palpatine from Maul many years ago, before the events of course, Episode 3 and 2. So what I like so much about this is that you can really see how J.J. Abrams is trying to really expand how we change and how we view the past 8 Star Wars movies, and how we're going to look at some of the characters like Maul and Palpatine, Snoke, etc. And I think that's one of the more interesting aspects of Episode 9. Now, could this be a good or a bad path by Disney and Lucasfilm? You know, that's a big question open on the table for discussion. Like I've always said before, too much change can always be a bad thing, but at the same exact time, if they're going to do something very positive that's going to really, enrich the Star Wars franchise and really make it seem like it's going to expand and evolve, for years on end, I think then it'll be a great idea. So with that being said, the fact that Kylo Ren discovers this Snoke hologram that reveals a little connection between both Snoke and Maul, as well as Palpatine in the mix, you can really see that this movie is really trying to really kind of make it feel like it is not just a sequel to The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, but a sequel to all the 8 movies that come before it, hence it being the culmination of the Skywalker saga. So this movie really is very important to Disney and Lucasfilm, and not just them as companies, but also us, the Star Wars community, the fans around the world. You know, this movie really does indeed determine the future of the Star Wars franchise. I mean, we've seen what happened with Solo: A Star Wars Story and how that changed over 10 years worth of films that Disney had to rework and change and go back to the drawing board. So that's where, you know, I'm crossing my fingers that this movie really is going to deliver, and JJ is going to knock it out of the park and really make this film stand out and mark itself down as the best of the sequel trilogy and making it the new Revenge of the Sith of our time. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.